What non-negotiables, regardless of talent, and for everybody listening, this is not the coach saying this. He has one of the most talented groups of kids who has come through a public school in a very long time. So what non-negotiables, regardless of talent, do you have for a player to be a part of your program?
You know, that's an awesome question. We have a lot of them, right? We have a lot of things that, and I look back 10 years ago when I first got here, what a challenge that was to start establishing some of those. And I think it's probably the same in the business world when you start and you got this vision of like what things are going to look like. And looking back, I remember some of these non-negotiables that I've always believed in and probably were instilled in me as a player, right? We just like had to constantly keep asking for them. And not being mad, and consequences here, consequences there. And I was thinking about it on a drive over today, and all these things and I'll share a couple with you. Like now, like our players demand all of them. I mean, I had this moment in practice yesterday where we were doing a very competitive drill, and a lot of the times as a coach you have to step in there and you have to just get the competitiveness even fired up. And we had some of our leaders, Dylan Gross and Jake Bascom, 3-year guys. I mean, as I was getting ready to say something, it starts coming out of their mouth. Like, hey, that's not okay. You got to do this. You got to do this. That's not good enough. And I remember kind of smiling in practice and telling my assistant, like, man, that's
cool to see.
what coaching is all about right there. And as a young coach, you don't know that. But for us, we talk a lot about just a lot of the characteristics that they're going to need in their life, right? Like, punctuality is critical for us. Like, you're not showing up late for us. And if you are, then guys we're all going to run for it. We're all going to take accountability for it. Being there with your gear, with your practice jersey tucked in, and the small things. And our philosophy on a lot of these things is like, if you can do those little things and you can find value in them, you can find value in anything and you can be great. And so we really test our guys with that, right? And you mentioned loose balls. Like we got one of our program values is like when a guy on our team gets on the floor in a practice or a game, like every single dude is running there. And
I've seen it. 100%.
And we want people in the stands. We want people watching. They know like these guys are in this together, right? This is not a one person thing. And speaking of our kids, like, I'm starting to try to get our third graders to do that, and it reminded me of being 10 years ago the first couple times. Like, hey, we all got to run to the ball. I'm like, what is he talking about? That last tournament, man, a guy got on the floor and like our kids were trying to run off the bench to get. Yeah,
That's awesome.
I mean, those little things, we find a lot of those, right? And we have a lot of things like nowadays we have technology where we can watch film through their apps and on their phone, and so we'll like monitor that and check that. Like, dude, you need to be put in this.
Film in high school?
Yeah. So
Ever.
Our guys are in tune with it, and like I said, one of the cool things, and this, I know we'll talk a little bit more about this, but what I thought coaching was all about when I started is totally different than what I think it is about now. And seeing the value in guys appreciating those and taking those little things you're talking about and running with them and holding other guys accountable for them and watching, our JV guys get held accountable by our varsity guys. That's what it's all about, and that's to me the great value in a great program is like when that starts happening, it's beautiful.
I think you hit it right on the head. Like, in order to do big things in this world, like you have to master the small things first. Tucking in your jersey, showing up on time, doing the things that are important if you want to accomplish big things.
Well, dude, when you say program too, Clough, it's like the word program to me as you explain what you just did. That really, it's like life, business, family structure, basketball, whatever the sports team that you're on, like that camaraderie, like, it comes back, it's like the famous Kobe Bryant speech where like, the dream is the journey.
Man.
You get to the end of it, like for instance, the Eagles players when they won the Super Bowl, they're getting interviewed. Like, how is it? They're like, it's not as good as I thought. I'm ready to get to training.
No kidding, man.
Yeah.
But like that joy in the training, and when your players or your employees or your kids take ownership in it, you as a leader, you could be like, man, I guess I'm doing something right.
Yeah. No question. No question.
I think the biggest thing too for some of these kids, which I guess I was too naive to even realize it in high school, is like they don't understand yet how impactful like having like specific morals or things that you focus on in your day-to-day for practice or in school, like that will affect them tenfold down the road that they don't even get yet.
I always say that about our kids. I'm like, every single kid that I've ever coached eventually gets it. They do.
Yeah.
Now, just the great ones and the really good teams,
Yeah.
they start to get it while they're still there with you.
Yeah.
The other ones are going to get it. They're going to
Yeah.
figure it out.
Yeah.
And they're going to know that you had love and
Amen,
the
bro.
discipline you're trying to instill. They know what's coming. They'll figure that out.
That's like when you're a kid and your dad like tells you to do something and you're like, no, I'm not doing it. And like 5 years down the road, you're like, damn, he was right.
Yeah.
You know, it's like that.